Hey everybody, Ross here from Act On This, live from Media City, UK. So why am I here? Well, as part of my vision for Act On This, moving it forward, taking it to the next level and beyond, and making it literally the #1 platform on the planet for TV and film actors, I've hooked up with one of the most exclusive media venues in the country, Private Members Bar, on the 7th, right here in the heart of Media City, to bring you guys a series of in-depth interviews with some of the greatest minds in the business. Over the next few months, I'll be sitting down with top directors, BAFTA award-winning actors, some of the country's most celebrated writers, executive producers, casting directors, and more. Now, last night, I had the pleasure of kicking things off, interviewing a good friend of mine, an award-winning filmmaker, Mr. Chris Stone. Chris is one of the country's most promising independent filmmakers, and I brought him in order to open up the world of independent film to you. We spoke about the amazing opportunities independent film is giving actors right now. We also looked at how you can network and get involved with independent filmmakers. We looked at how you can get cast in independent film, but more importantly, how you can optimize your chances of getting recast. We also looked at what makes a great story. We looked at the steps involved in creating your first film, along with Chris's most valuable tips and tricks picked up along his 15-year career in the industry. I'm very grateful to be working with Chris right now on his latest web series, Year of Spies, and I know after watching this interview, you guys are going to want to work with him too. So with that, let's dive right in. Ladies and gents, I give you award-winning filmmaker, Mr. Chris Stone. Chris, welcome to Act On This TV, episode 1. Thank you so much for being here.
No worries at all, Ross.
So what do you think of the place?
It's amazing.
Pretty cool, hey?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It is a live environment. There will be people knocking around. There's going to be people at the bar and stuff. Don't get tempted to run off.
Well, I might go for a beer.
It might be. Chris, as you know, for years I have been podcasting for Act On This. I've been doing live broadcasts for Act On This as well. However, from day one, this, like TV style interviews, has been my vision for Act On This. So it's amazing. It's finally a reality.
It's like real Alan Partridge.
Exactly. It's not like Partridge. It's like Jonathan Ross without Jonathan.
Exactly.
Just Ross.
Yeah, just Ross.
Get it?
Yeah. Very
Chris,
good.
You're a director.
I am.
You are normally behind the camera. Today I brought you in front of the camera to talk to me and all the actors watching this, all about the world of independent film. Okay, the opportunities it brings about for actors, why actors should get involved, how they get involved, and also want to pick your brains, because you write and film and develop all your own stuff, really on like golden nuggets of information for people out there who might have had a short film in their head for years, but they're overwhelmed by the thought of actually getting it out of their head and onto the screen. They don't know where to start. They've got a scarcity mindset. They feel they've got no money. They don't have enough time. They don't have enough resources. So I want you to kind of give us all your secrets.
I'll try my best.
Try your best. Before we do that, I've been Googling you, mate.
Ooh, scary.
It is pretty scary. I'm not going to mention any of the scandal or the court cases. I'm just going to...
There was only one. No,
there wasn't any.
There wasn't any.
I'm just going to have a little recap on what you've achieved over the last few
Previously
years.
on Chris Stone.
Because you might not even remember some of this stuff. So here you go. You just dine out on this, Chris. You ready? You've shot films all over the globe. You've been nominated for a Royal Television Society Award. You've had your work screened on BBC, ITV, MTV. You've had it premiered at Pinewood Studios and the British Film Institute. Your web series Blood and Bone China, which was how I kind of got to know of you, has won numerous awards, including Best Director and Best Web Series in the US, beating other web series that were made on multi-million dollar budgets,
yep,
which is quite amazing. You lecture at major festivals around the country. You also give talks at YouTube and Google, which I'm jealous of because I'm a total geek. I would love to do that. And you're currently shooting episode 5 of 12 of your new web series, Year of Spies, which you recently screened at Marseille Film Festival alongside Ridley Scott's new Halo web series, another massive web series. So it's not bad, eh?
That's not bad at all.
Do you remember doing all that stuff?
Yeah, that's a good little recap, that.
Well, I met you, how long have I known you now, mate? Like 3 years?
Yeah.
So like, wow, 3 years. So I met you through my girlfriend of the time then. Don't worry, it's all still very amicable. We're still very good friends. Because she just starred in Blood and Bone China, the web series that I just mentioned. And honestly, I must admit, she said, oh yeah, I've just been doing this Blood and Bone China thing. And It's an independent web series. And I didn't have a clue anything about independent film at all. And I was like, all I thought about independent film was these films that get shot and go straight to VHS, like when I was a kid, and you'd hire them from the video shop and you'd be like, oh, what is this? No wonder it didn't get a cinema release. And I looked at it, only 15 seconds of footage, and was instantly blown away. It looked amazing. The sets and locations were massive. It looked super big budget. The costumes were great. The acting was great. And I was like, wow, this guy obviously works on really big budgets. And Rach was like, no, like he shoots everything on a shoestring, like zero budget. And I couldn't believe it. I mean, you shot it on, I think, a Canon DSLR.
Yeah, it was a 550D.
So how much is that? That's a 500 camera?
That was 500-600 quid.
It's amazing. And instantly, my mind just went, wow, this is kind of like leveled the playing field for people who want to get into film. No longer do you need to buy like a 20 grand Red Epic camera in order to compete. It's not all about the kit. Obviously, you're an incredibly talented guy. You couldn't just give me a 550D and I'd come out with blood and bone china. That would be ridiculous. So I'm intrigued, where kind of did it start for you? Where did you start developing these skills as a filmmaker?
Well, where did it start? I'm really young. I think I was about 11 or 12, and I picked up my dad's video camera and just fell in love with it and just started making movies. I would, instead of doing my schoolwork, I'd be writing scripts in the back of my textbooks and drawing storyboards, and then on the weekends I'd get my friends together and we'd go off and shoot our own little Bond movie or a monster movie or horror film, and just literally just keep making stuff non-stop at school. And that's where it really started.
So you picked up a very simple video camera back in the day. What was it?
Yeah, it was a Video 8. So it was a really old format. It's a completely outdated format now, and couldn't actually edit really. So if I wanted to, we'd have to edit in camera. So if I was doing like a wide shot, I'd actually shoot a wide shot now, cut it in camera, move the camera closer to do a close-up, shoot that. So it was all done in camera, which is sort of a good technique that I still use today, because I still shoot everything in order.
That's amazing though. That would, like, can you imagine today as an adult filmmaker?
I don't feel like that's something else entirely.
I don't mean that. I mean, as an adult, we generally, as we develop, we get more and more scared of things. If you had to do that today,
it's a ridiculous amount. And it's just to do the music, we'd have to get a tape recorder and we'd have to sync it up and press record and play on the tape recorder and stop the music, stop the camera, and from there on in. So it was all done in camera.
Wow. So that would put off
a colossal amount of work.
Anybody. It was amazing that as kids we just we're not afraid by that. We don't get overwhelmed as children. We just go out.
Just trying out new things, trying out stop motion, trying out lighting, but also it's just literally you learn through playing really. So that's what we did.
Absolutely. Well, I've seen a couple of these little shorts that you did from when you were about 10 and 12, dressed up as James Bond or Mission Impossible. You were in front of the camera back then and behind the camera.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought of getting into acting? Or were you there for necessity?
More out of necessity, just because I couldn't get enough actors, and it was just me and my friends, and if they weren't available, I wasn't going to stop. I'm still going to shoot something. But I did theatre stuff when I was at school. I'm not afraid of being in front of the camera. But I'm much more comfortable behind the camera.
So today, obviously, you work as a director with actors. You let them do the acting.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued, really, kind of how you develop relationships with actors in the industry as an independent filmmaker, because that's going to be just as important for you to discover new talent as it is for new talent to discover you. You don't have a casting department. You are the casting department. You've got to network with actors, find new faces. How do you do that, and how do you nurture those relationships with actors? And so you've got a pool to draw from.
Well, I meet a lot of actors on Twitter, big Twitter user, and on the Facebook group, which is www.facebook.com/Year of Spies, and meet them at festivals. And I shoot a lot of actors showreels, custom showreel scenes, so I meet a lot of actors through that. But yeah, it's all about meeting new people. That's one of the things that I love most about filmmaking, is actually meeting new actors and working with actors and building up these relationships, because it's all about relationships at the end of the day. Actually, it doesn't matter how good an actor you are, you've still got to have those relationships, because you can have a brilliant actor, but they're just a nasty person or not great to get on with on set. I'd rather work with somebody like yourself. That's nice, and we can have a laugh.
Thank you very much. We can do Alan Partridge impressions.
Alan Partridge back and forward. We'll stop there. We'll stop right there.
I'm curious actually, because I want to know. I want to delve a little bit deeper in terms of the relationships you have with actors. Not like that. Just in terms of, you are married. Just in terms of yeah, how you find actors in general, because one thing that I am a massive advocate of and have tried to stamp out as a one-man army in the industry, yeah, is like the negativity, the struggle, because actors, in my opinion today, get very addicted to the struggle. They're constantly telling me what they've not got in their career as opposed to what they have got in their career. They can tell me what they don't want, they can't tell me what they do want. How do you find attitudes overall with the actors that you work with?
Overall, it's all been fairly positive. I've had a few negative sort of ones, but mostly positive. And but with those sort of actors, you want to bring those back on board because they've got this, sounds a bit thingy, but this positive energy, this good vibes that you want to just work with them regardless. So yeah, if you bring that positive energy to set, it carries over. It works for the whole team.
Yeah, no, I agree. And we're going to talk about that later on because that's a big part of something you wrote for me, an article called How to Get Cast and How to Get Cast Again. And that's a big part of getting cast again, is being the person that you want to work with time and time again. Yeah. So let's talk then about your latest web series, Year of Spies. I was over the moon to be asked to star in episode 1 alongside other great actors. We had John Dutton, Alan Law, Mr. Will, who turned out to be absolutely great. It was the coldest shoot.
It was very. Do you want to tell them how cold it was?
Mate, it was colder than. Well, if it was hot, I'd have described it as hotter than the sun. So whatever the opposite of that is, it was colder than like Antarctica. Yeah. It was the coldest place on Earth. I knew it was cold because, and honestly, if John Dutton had not taken me home that night in his car, and I'd have had to get the train home from Stoke or something to Manchester, mate, I wouldn't have made it. I swear I wouldn't have made it. I knew I was cold when I got in the bath. When I got home, steam was rising off the bath. It was like hotter than I've ever had it. And I got in, and I could tell, like, because I was sweating, but I still felt dreadfully cold, like to the bone. It was horrific, but day 2, I wore some thermals.
I did tell you it was going to be cold though, and Ross was like, no, hey, I want to get my guns out. It's like, Ross, you can wear a jacket, you can wear thermals. It's like, no, I'll be fine. Ross, it's really cold in that warehouse. No.
I just didn't know. Vanity. Over sense, definitely. I learnt my lesson there. Yeah. So tell everybody then, what is Year of Spies? When did you come up with the idea, and how have you developed it? Where are you up to so far?
Okay, so it's a 12-part espionage web series. And each one is its own individual story, and it's themed around the different months of the year. So February is set on Valentine's Day, and that's a romantic sort of thriller. October is set on Halloween, and that's kind of a horror one. I've had the idea for doing like a 12-part series set over a year for about 10 or 11 years.
Wow.
Pre-YouTube. So it's been there in the background, and now is kind of the right time to go ahead and make it.
So tell me then, what makes it the right time? I'm intrigued why you waited 10 years.
Because I wanted to sync it up, so I released January in January, February in February, March in March, and I'd always either forget to start making them, or it's just never been quite. I think just the right time technically now, and we know enough about storytelling and film. It just felt the right time to make these.
It's not procrastination.
No, not procrastination. No, I definitely, and it was different from doing Blood and Bone China, because Blood and Bone China is one long continuous story cut into 12. I wanted to do something different this time, so it was like, well, let's do this idea and do the 12 individual stories.
So yeah, I guess that's a big advantage for when you're submitting to film festivals, I guess, because it's a contained story.
It's a contained story, so when you show them at film festivals, but with Blood and Bone China, when we showed them at film festivals, they'd show at like episode 5 and 6. It's like, well, that's good, but it doesn't actually make much sense if you haven't seen all the bits before or after. With these, you can watch October, March, January in that sort of order, and it's still, they're contained stories, so it still makes sense.
Yeah, so I was in January.
Yep.
February, you set obviously Valentine's, each one's got a theme.
March is St. Patrick's Day. Then we skip forward to October, which is Halloween. The one we're doing at the moment is April. I said, because the individual stories, we can make them in any order that we want.
Absolutely. Just before we go on, I've just remembered a story you told me that I want to make sure I get into this interview, because I want people to see.
Is it a good story, Ross?
It's quite a good story. I want people to see how far independent film can go, because I don't want people to think, oh, but I wouldn't want to work in independent film because I'm too good for that. I only want to work in cinema films and blockbusters and blah, blah, blah. You mentioned a director, Gareth Edwards, to me, who started off directing independent film and ended up somewhere very different in a very short space of time. So can you give us that story?
So Gareth Edwards, he won a 48-hour film challenge 2 or 3 years before we entered, and we came in the top 10. From that, he got the film Monsters, which was sort of a low budget. I think it was 100,000, 200,000. It wasn't massive. From that, he went on to Godzilla with Bryan Cranston. From Godzilla, it's Star Wars Rogue One, which is coming out at the end of the year. So it's like, it's only a few steps away in a few years.
So he's like 3 steps and a couple of years away from Star Wars.
Away from Star Wars.
If you are that, can I be in Star Wars?
You can be a Jedi now.
So I hope you are enjoying this interview so far. All right, if you want to watch the rest of it, there's so much more to come in this chat. I need you to do just 2 very simple things for me. One, I need you to be on the actonthis.tv website. Okay, so if you're currently watching this preview on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter or somewhere like that, okay, look for a link in the description of the video and then click on it. It's going to take you over to where the full interview is on actonthis.tv. All right. Secondly, once you are there, I just need you to sign in to a free account. Okay, that's it. Simple as that. If you've got a free account, click login at the top of the page when you're on actonthis.tv. Log in, okay, and then you'll get full access to the interview straight away. If you don't have an account yet, then get one. Like I say, completely free. All right, it'll take you 30 seconds to get one. Once you've done that, sign in and you'll get full access. Simple as that. Okay, won't cost you a penny. So I won't keep you. Go do that now, and I'll see you back in that interview very, very soon. Bye for now.